team is, and given the fact that you don't have an answer, and you thought you had an answer in 7 games after Jimmy Garoppolo, you didn't. You thought you had an answer with Trey Lance when you traded that much up to get him. 2 years later, we don't know. We might have an answer with Brock Purdy, but he's also coming off an elbow injury. I think that it's time for the 49ers to maximize every opportunity they can to find out who that guy is, and that means keeping every quarterback they can on this roster and giving them an opportunity to compete so that you know every little thing about that guy. And until you know for sure that that guy is either that guy or he's not that guy, you don't let them get out of the building. And that's where I defer from you a little bit, Larry. But I do want to get some...
Let me ask you this. Is it fair for the 49ers to ask both Purdy and Lance to commit? Hey, you know what? We're going to roll the footballs out there in July. You guys have both had shown some good things. You both have had surgeries.
I don't think
you both have had
Guys...
injuries.
So I don't think
somebody's going to win this job.
Sorry.
Somebody's going to lose this job. Will you guys commit that whoever loses this job will not make a public trade demand in season? I need to know that. I need to know that. I think it's fair for the 49ers to ask that of Trey and of Brock to say, hey, you know what? There's going to be a competition and somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. If you lose the competition and the other guy's the quarterback all year and you're sitting on the bench all year, are you going to demand a trade? If you're going to demand a trade, let's get it done now. If you're not going to demand a trade, let's go to work. Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think the Niners have a reasonable ground to fear that two young quarterbacks who want to both start may then want to demand a trade after you don't start. I'm not good enough to beat out him, I guess, because this guy said so, but I think that I'm the best quarterback in the league and I want to go somewhere else. But I don't think it's in the Niners' interest to get one of their quarterbacks making a trade demand in September. So I need to know that before I put my football team together. Is that fair?
Yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You asked the question and then I was going to, my bad. Either way.
No.
So what I meant to say was, ultimately, I don't think either of these players have any leverage to make a trade demand, Larry. They don't really have leverage. They don't make a lot of money. Neither of them. They're both contractually tied to the 49ers. Neither has proven enough in the league. I feel like and then this goes back to the, hypothetical conversation. Maybe we should just leave this thing here, Larry. There's a lot more time this offseason to talk about because then we're going to get into the hypotheticals about value again. And
is it fair to ask them to commit?
Larry, I don't see how this situation is unfair to either player. I'm not seeing it. Neither player has proven that they should just walk in and be a long-term starter.
All I'm saying, Vish, is would it be a good situation or a bad situation for the 49ers to go to camp with Brock Purdy and Trey Lance, have Brock beat out Trey beat out Brock, and have one of them say on September 5th, trade me before October's trade deadline? That's not good. That's not a good situation.
I wouldn't accept, but the thing is, I don't think the 49ers have to acquiesce to either
No, they don't
of
have
their
to
trade
acquiesce,
requests.
But even the ask, the NFL, even the ask becomes a thing. And then it becomes a question that
does it become a thing? Does it become a thing? Are we still talking about Deebo Samuel?
No, I'm just saying I want a commitment from the quarterbacks that they don't demand a trade and upset the chemistry in the middle of before the season even starts. And I think that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable.
I think that's
do you want to be here? Do you want to be here? You got to be here.
I think that's fair, but I think if you put on to both quarterbacks first, and then if you put on a competition of any sort, I think there is an understanding, like Larry, if you and I were competing at something, there's an understanding contract between the two of us that one of us is going to lose, right? When you and I are competing at something, we both understand that only one of us is going to be happy at the end of the day, right? Our debate that we just had, that was spicy, according to Scotty Dippin, and I got a lot of questions I got to get to, so my bad, I'll get to them. But our debate that was spicy, you and I both knew in that debate that there's only going to be one winner. You were peeking with your right eye over at the comments. I was as well. Every time someone said, yeah, Vish, get him, I was like, yeah, checkpoint for me. And you were looking over.
Time. I haven't even looked at the comments yet.
Oh, okay. You were missing out. Anyway, they were judging our competition, right? They were figuring out who was winning this debate. When I would peek over,
I'm 100% focused on you, Vish.
Oh, okay.
I not seriously. I didn't even know. You know what? This is the first live stream that I've done on somebody else's channel where I realized I could even look at the comments.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, you learn something new every day. Either way, I was looking at those comments, Larry, and every time, I saw those people that said, "Ooh, Larry got him." I see them. I recognize them next time you watch your. No, I'm kidding. But no, like I feel like that's an inherent agreement, part of the competition bargain, right? To me, when you lose. If you lose a competition and then ask out, I think it becomes more of a character conversation in some ways. It does. Just because there is an inherent part of this competition where you agree, well, if I lose, I'm going to have to deal with the results of losing. And I'm going to have to be the backup. And so that's where I do think it becomes a completely different conversation, Larry. Let's get to some questions and then roll back into this.